what is it like to live in the flow? I want to give a full disclosure that I am the last person to tell you I live in flow. I'm good at living in flow. I am a master at this. I am not by any means a master of this flow. However, that's the whole point, is I'm learning to live into it every single day. I'm learning to live by the art of flow, by the rhythm of flow. And how do you know when you are living in the flow? And I would say there's a couple of markers that you can depend on as a guidance system, as an emotional guidance system, as Abraham Hicks calls it. The emotional guidance system is very good at showing us what is in flow and what is out of flow. Now, when you get out of flow, I want to be clear that that is not, what I have found in myself is it is not the end of the world. It is not even a terrible thing to be out of the flow. It's just part of, in fact, I would say that most of us, I have no numbers to back this up, but my experience of people has been this. So many people learned to live life in go mode. Go, go, go. Produce something. Always be trying to produce something. And if you're not trying to produce something, be thinking about the next thing that you're going to produce, because otherwise, what are you even doing? And I have realized that internally, is there something to production? Absolutely. It's part of what makes the world go round, is producing something. But in that, I think that we have lost our creativity, because we're no longer producing from a creative state. And we adore the creative state because it is where the best ideas come from. The muse, the inspiration, is where innovation rests, and it's where it comes from. However, because of our capitalistic society, which, disclaimer, I love capitalism, I love the idea of capitalism, but I think we all can agree and take a step back and go, hold on, something's out of whack, something is off balance. And I think what it is we have overvalued production versus creativity. And so anytime anyone produces anything, we slap a label of, oh, that person's creative because they created something. But what's really going on is that they're just burning the candle at both ends to produce something. And anyway, let's go back to, so I think that we have been conditioned, so many of us have been conditioned. I won't say all because I can't speak for everyone, but so many of us have been conditioned to produce and to quote unquote create something all the time, especially if you're in some sort of artistic, if you have any sort of bend toward the artistic, towards the nourishing, towards the beautiful. The pressure to produce something is really strong. And if you feel that, I would appreciate a little, wave or like or something in the comments where I know I'm not the only one. But I have dealt with and been dealing with this push to produce. And I would say it is, part of it comes from perfectionism, in the sense of there's this crippling procrastination that happens because I'm afraid to produce anything that is short of perfection. And yet there's this prod on the other end, pushing forward, going, you have to produce. Who are you if you're not producing? I live in Texas, and we went to the rodeo the other night. And if you're not familiar with rodeo, it's rough. I'm not going to lie. I don't know that I can go to it again ethically. I don't know that I can stand to watch. There's some events that I can totally get behind that are super fun. I love ladies barrel racing. I'm off on a tangent already, but this is just disclaimer for Texans. I love barrel racing. I love horses. I love these animals. I love watching people do this amazing athleticism. However, watching these little cows, these little baby cows in their, inside of their pen. So they have this setup where they have a bar, or a gate in front of, a V-shaped gate, that when the cow is supposed to run out so that the person can rope them, they have it to where it's pushed forward and it's like a V in front of their nose, this gate. And as soon as the timer goes off, or they ring the bell, it flings open and this cow gets pushed out. Now, the reality is that there has been someone behind this cow the whole time in the gate while they're waiting for their moment, pushing them towards the front of this gate, because they need this cow to run as fast as it possibly can so that the roper gets a chance to chase it. Part of what gets judged in the rodeo, part of what gets judged in the event is how the animal is responding. And so to make it fair for everyone, they need the cow to run. And so as a result, they stack them into this pin, and they push and push and push and push from behind, but the cow can't go anywhere until the buzzer goes off and it opens up. And I mean, I know it sounds horrible, and it is horrible to watch sometimes, because I was just watching it going like, oh, these poor cows. However, some of them seemed to enjoy it. Some of them did not. Who knows? I'm like, he's so judged for all of this. Anyway, y'all judge me. It's fine. This is Texas. This is where I live. This is the heritage that we're a part of. But I will say, I don't think I can watch that event again. It was too sad, because I feel like that cow sometimes, like there is this barrier in front of me that I can't seem to push past, which is my authentic need to be creative. There's a barrier in front of me. And when I say barrier, it's not even a bad thing. It is like, no, I will not create anything that is not up to my full potential, my actual vulnerability, my authenticity. I won't do it. I won't cross those lines anymore. I won't create just to create. I won't create just to appease some sort of capitalistic, algorithmic, corporate mode of being. I want to be an artist who feels, and the way I create, I've got to be clear, the way that I channel the muse is I set aside time and I sit quietly and I let it come to me. And if it's there, it's there. And if it's not, it's not, and I move on. And everyone has their own process. I'm not judging that process, but I refuse to put something on paper just for the sake of putting something on paper. And yes, there are practices, and yes, there are things that can be done to make creativity flow. But what I'm talking about is different. It's the energy of produce in order to produce, create content, do something, because you have to be seen, you have to be seen, you have to be heard. You've got to get your voice out there. If you're not always out there, then people won't remember you. And so that's the energy that I am resisting. And that's the barrier in front of me that's going, no, I will only create my vulnerability. But then on the other side, like the cow in the pen, you've got this prod always sticking you in the back, always poking you, always saying you're not enough. If you're not doing it right, if you're not doing it now, if you're not doing more, you're not enough. And so you feel this anxiety, this low-level anxiety or high-level anxiety to put something out all the time. And I just want to speak to that in you. If you have been living in go and you desire to live in flow, I want to say that it is possible. And I am in the middle of doing that, of learning to change my nervous system into enjoying the flow state. And I'm not going to claim the flow state all the time, but I am going to say enjoying the idea of the flow state enough to attract the flow state to me. Let me say, I think that's a clearer representation of what I'm doing right now. And so all of that is a long explanation of why I haven't been posting regularly. I took social media off for the month of September, and I will continue to do that, and this will come out later. And it is a practice in flow. And so some of the markers that you can look for, that I've looked for, is emotional well-being. And so first of all, if you are feeling dread, anxiety, fear, tense, if you are feeling nervous, I want you to know that is completely normal for your nervous system. It may be completely normal for your nervous system, but to cite Gabor Mate's book, The Myth of Normal, that doesn't mean it's good. That doesn't mean just because something is normal does not mean it is meant to be. And so when you are feeling those emotions that we might label negative emotions, I want us to start, this is what I've started to do, is noticing, okay, where am I pushing into that barrier in front of me? Where am I allowing this cattle prod behind me? Where am I allowing that cattle prod voice to be the stronger voice? And where am I ignoring the boundaries that I have put up for myself? Where am I violating those boundaries? And maybe you haven't been clear about the boundaries that you're putting up for yourself. And that might be why you're feeling the anxiety. Maybe that's why you feel discomfort in your body, is because your body, your soul, your highest good is trying to speak to us, is trying to speak to you, give you a message of you're worth the boundary of going to bed on time. And by on time, that could be 9 o'clock, that could mean 10 o'clock, that could mean 3 a.m. It could mean, listen, maybe you're a night owl and you've been making yourself go to bed at 9 o'clock. And really the better rhythm for you is to stay up late, because you really do better that way. Listen, there is no rhyme. There is no one way to live and flow. None. It's your way. But maybe your emotional world is asking you to get silent with it and to ask, what are my intentions? What is the best flow for me? And I'm going to tell you, a lot of times it's going to go against what the articles say, what the main pop culture is saying, whether it's this is the best nutrient, this is the best nutrition, this is the best diet, this is the best sleep habit, this is the best amount of water, this is the best. Listen, no one is inside of your skin except you. And so you get to consult your highest self as you're feeling these quote unquote negative emotions. You get to go inside and go, what are you showing me? What are these symptoms, these negative emotions? What are these negative emotions showing me about my day-to-day rhythm? And what can I give to them as a gift to bring them back into alignment? And alignment being peace, joy, wholeness. What is the fruit of the Spirit? Love, joy, peace, patience. These fruits are not some sort of ethereal, whimsical thing that some God out in the sky bestows upon you if you act right. No, this is the fruit of living in alignment with the Spirit. Patience, kindness, goodness, gentleness. These are the fruits. Faithfulness, self-control. These are the fruits. That's what that list really is in, wherever it shows up in the Bible. What that list really is like, these are the guideposts to know that you're living in flow, because you're meant to. You are born of Spirit. You are made of Spirit, and you are designed and destined to live in a state of love and joy, peace and patience, kindness, in a state of absolute goodness. That is your birthright, beloved. It is your birthright to live in this state. And so if you're not experiencing those things, there is absolutely no judgment. There is no reason to feel bad about it. It's just, hello, friend, emotional world. I forgot that you were a guidepost for me. And now I remember. And as I'm remembering, I am going to choose to pull myself in and listen to these symptoms of anxiety, of fear, of worry, and recognize, where is this coming from? Is it from inside of me? Or is it from something I'm listening to louder than the voice within me? And that voice within me is the guidance system to bring you into flow. And so I'm going to tell you a quick bit of what my life has looked like over the last few weeks as I have gone into this kind of desire and intention to live and flow, so that you can know, don't do what I'm doing. Don't do what I'm doing, but do understand that what I'm doing is literally retraining my nervous system to exist in a world that is conditioned to production versus, and so when I say nervous system, what I'm talking about is like literally, okay, I'm just going to tell you the story. I'm sorry. I'm all over the place. And if you're with me, thank you, friends. Thank you, friends. But quickly, I'll say this. I set the intention about the beginning of September, I would say, getting off of social media a little bit before that. But part of what came up for me was, let me get off social media so I can hear myself, so I can hear what flow feels like for me. And lo and behold, my poetry book gets printed and bound and done in September. Keep in mind, I've been preparing this thing since like January, February of this year. And I expected it to come out like in May, and here we are in September, and it barely just comes out, but wouldn't you know it, it comes out when I'm off social media. So I'm stuck with this moment of, do I break my social media vow and post about it and get excited? And because that's what marketers do, content. But I'm living in flow. And so I don't take a single picture. I don't worry about it because I don't have to make a decision about that right now. I don't have to decide what to do about this book right now because it's not showing itself to say anything other than, look, I'm here. And I chose, instead of hustling and trying to make something happen with this book, because, that's what you do. You got to market. You got to put it out there. It's out. You got to do something with it. No, I'm going to pause. I'm going to relax. I'm going to enjoy feeling my book. I'm going to feel it between my fingers. I'm going to look at it. I'm going to hold the stacks of it and be in awe that this happened. Like, I did this. I did something. And here's what happened as a result of it. I let the nervousness subside, and there came a little bit of excitement, but even the excitement started to subside. And then I was left with just a book. And that's not a bad thing. What I was left with was a reality, which is, I did this. Oh, now that I've let the nervousness subside, and I've let the excitement subside, and I haven't invited anyone in on this journey yet, social media wise or content wise, I get to sit with this thing that I've created, and I get to marvel at, wow, I did this. And I will say, it's like, there's no vanity in this. Like, I did this, because I'm not inviting anyone in this. I've had to sit with it quietly and go, I did a thing. I did something. I created something. I started something and I finished it. And if you know me personally, I am notorious. I'm a Gemini rising. I have a Mars in Aries, so I'm really good at starting things. I have a Capricorn sun, so I finish some things, and usually it's the day-to-day life things, not anything big. I am notorious for starting things and not finishing them, in my own mind at least. And so part of this was a healing of, listen, babe, you did it. And I didn't push to make it happen. I didn't push the printer to get it out on a certain timeline. Throughout the whole entire process, I let it go and I let it go. In July, when I was like, maybe I should push and get it out, I relaxed, I breathed. And guess what? It is coming out perfectly timed. And I haven't even decided how I'm going to launch it yet. By the time you hear this, you may see some things about it, and I hope that's the case. I hope by that time that the flow has guided me to what's next. But frankly, where I am right now in the middle of September going, I wonder what will come out next. I sent the pre-orders of the book out because that was the next thing to do. It was the next right thing. The next right thing was to get out the pre-orders and to write an inscription, to dedicate it to each one of them, and to thank them for their support, and to get those sent so that they could savor it before everyone else, as part of a perk of pre-ordering the book, and I appreciate all of you who did pre-order it. Thank you for being a part of this process. But that was the next thing. And so then came me sitting with it and going, okay, what do I do now? And I got a little hint. Why don't you message a local bookstore owner? And so I did. And sure enough, within a few minutes, she messaged me back and wants to meet. And I'll be meeting with her within the next few days about maybe that's the direction to go. But all of this is to say, and I mean, none of this is to be prescriptive of anything, but what I'm trying to convey in my voice, in my feeling, and in talking about this process, although there's much more to this process, but in talking about this process is the reality that I let go of an outcome. I let go of the when, of the how, and even the why am I putting this out? And I got very clear on, I want this book, for example, as one example of one microcosm of the rest of my life. I want my life, but this book, to be birthed in peace. Because I want, when you grab it, I want you to feel peace. I want you to experience joy. I want you to experience the effortlessness of the flow and the beauty, and to be wrapped up in it. And so if I push and hustle this thing out, I can't be confident that you won't feel some of that somewhere on the other end. And I've started to apply that same feeling to the rest of my life when I'm homeschooling my kids, when I'm interacting with my friends, taking a deep breath, pausing and going, I don't know the best thing for this situation. So I'm going to allow it to unveil itself in front of me. And I'm going to tell you, friend, that when you intend to let the beauty of the world unfold in front of you, you are not disappointed. It is a beautiful world we live in. And if you don't see it, I want to encourage you to take a few moments right now. If you're able, you may close your eyes. And if you're driving, please don't. Please keep your eyes open. But you can still intend for this. And take a deep breath wherever you are. And simply intend, I enjoy how the world unfolds beautifully in front of me. I enjoy how the world is unfolding beautifully in front of me. And then just let a soft smile sit on your face and find something beautiful. Sit with it for a moment. Don't rush. Let its beauty fill your mind, trickle down your neck, into your shoulders and down into your hips and through your feet, and feel it return back to it. And there's this cycle of beauty and flow. This is the flow state that you were meant to live in, and it can happen all the time. No judgment if it's not happening all the time, none at all. But just stick a little pin in this and know, this is my birthright. Feeling the beauty of the world unfolding in front of me. This is why I'm here. Everything else is details. Everything else is details. And so, my friends, I bless you to live a little bit more, just enough more into the flow state. And I hope that this inspires you to do so. I love you all. Thank you for being with me. I bless your day. Have an amazing, beautifully unfolding moment.